So in this movie, Megan creates like a bunker to keep Katie safe.
You're very.
Every time I look over, she's just like, yeah, hi.
You're having trouble maintaining eye contact.
I know. It's yeah.
What do you think?
I think we're dead meat. Real dead meat.
Go ahead and laugh, you guys. If I ever find a little bastards that did this, they're dead meat.
Hello. How's it going? Allison.
Nice to see you.
Nice to
Violet.
see you.
Nice
How's
to
it
meet
going?
you.
Watch your head. I guess you're used to that.
Got it. Obviously, the biggest difference between Megan, who's sitting right over there scaring me, and Megan 2.0 is the genre shift. It's more of an action movie this time around, and with that comes a lot of action sequences that both of you are involved in. So can you tell me what it was like training for that, working with stunt coordinator Isaac Hammond?
I think
Oh my God, Isaac.
The-
He goes
oh my
by Ike.
gosh.
Isaac sounds. I'm like, who's Ike? He goes
Ike.
by Ike. Yes,
Okay.
but his name is Isaac.
Yes.
You're right. I
Okay.
know
But
that
we
from
did
like
call
his
him
email
Ike.
address.
It's funny because the first one, it's obviously like I was so young, I didn't really have to do anything that I did in the second film.
Yeah.
I mean, you saved the world-ish, but
that's
other than
true,
that,
I guess.
you know.
Team effort.
Yeah,
but
well, thank you.
I think it was just the only thing I was worried about was the transition because of how much more I had to do than the first one. But it worked out awesome because Ike was there and the whole stunt team, honestly. But I got to learn Aikido and a bunch of other stunts that you'll see in the film, which was super cool. And I love doing my own stunts. I used to want to be a stunt person.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
She's so good. You know who wasn't worried about all the stunts she had to do? All of us. We were like, yes, Violet can do anything we asked her to do. So we were like, look, she needs to learn Aikido. She needs to do some stunt scenes. And she just took it like a champ and did it all to the level that she does everything else. It was so nice. But it was really funny taking these characters and this tone and this world and then moving it into this genre where suddenly in the first movie we're all like brushing up on robotics and engineering, and in the second one we're like passing each other on our way like to and from like boxing and stuff like that. It was just very fun. But we love being together. We love making these movies. So whatever we're doing, we are happy.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the robotics, all that. I know that for the first film, Allison, you talked to a lot of people in robotics and AI to kind of get a sense of that character. Did you talk to anyone else, any different professions for this one, like any activists, anyone like that, since your character is in such a different situation now?
I didn't, actually. Most of this movie was spent preparing physically for the movie.
Okay,
but I also was like following, I think now the conversation about AI has opened up so much more broadly into the world that like, it was much easier. I didn't have to reach as far to find the experts in this field as I did for the first time around. It was kind of like every headline I read seemed to be about ChatGPT and the ethics of it, and we're all contending with those things in a very real way nationwide at the moment. My time was so weighted towards the producer side of things until we got like 2 weeks or a week and a half out. It shifted the allocation of time between producer to acting. Because at a certain point in the development of the script and the story and everything, I realized that all of the Gemma things were things that I was going to have to do. But for a while, it was just this abstract third person idea, like a Megan or like Katie.
Oh God.
What?
Just the Megan. It's very unnerving. I can't believe you had to deal with this for so many weeks on
Deal
set.
with it. It's a privilege.
She's a lovely co-star.
Yeah.
You mentioned how the conversation around AI has changed so much just in the past 2 years since we made this movie, or since you made the first movie. Yeah. And I was actually thinking about how much, like Violet, how you probably feel like an entirely different person than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because for adults, 2 years isn't that big a deal. We're essentially the same people as we were. But for you went from, now you're 14, so you were 12.
I was 10.
You were 10 when you filmed that. So yeah, you must feel like an entirely different person.
I actually do though.
Yeah.
I've grown a lot too.
And I'm so I'm just curious, just like random personal note, what kind of things like are you into now that you didn't even know about back then? Like when you think about your life and who you are as a person now, what's so different than?
Oh wait, yeah,
Taylor.
Oh yeah, Taylor Swift.
I hadn't like entered her
really?
sphere
That's
yet.
true. I started listening to her when I was like 7
Yeah.
because I loved her music videos. That's what I really loved about her. And then I think on set, we really did love Taylor Swift a lot.
Wall to wall singing Taylor Swift.
Was
I
it
love-
filming during the Eras tour? Like, were you filming
Just
this during
after.
Just
it, I think.
after,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you get to
Right?
go?
I did get to go last
Nice.
year in November because of my mom.
Oh.
Lovely. It was amazing, and I would go a bunch more times.
Many people have. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Allison, you mentioned your role as a producer, and I know that a lot of a producer's job is just like solving problems as they pop up. Were there
Yes.
any unexpected problems?
Every day, so many, more than I can even count and think about. But that is the process of making a movie. And
Yeah.
problem is a tricky word because ultimately, yes, something might show up as an issue. This thing isn't working in the way we thought it would, or this set can't allow for this camera to be in the place that we always pictured it to be, and it's different from what it was like on the Scout or whatever it is. But it always ends up, at least with a crew that's as talented as ours, becoming so cheesy, but it's true. It becomes an opportunity to make something different and cooler. And there are so many things in these movies where problem solving leads us to a solution that is better than the original idea that we had. It's why like having constraints, whether they're budgetary or logistical on something, can actually force it to become more creative and interesting.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
a sign of a good team too. is
Totally.
when you're able to take on a obstacle and turn it into a positive.
Yeah.
I would say
For
like
sure.
the producers on the ground, it's like their superpower. You know, Adam and Judson, who are there every step of the way, like it is, and Mark Ketcher, who's our, oh my God, he's like runs our whole world. And without that group of people, like we would just be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, as they say.
Yeah. So in this movie, Megan creates like a bunker to keep Katie safe.
You're very,
Every time I look over, she's just like, yeah, hi.
you're having trouble maintaining eye contact.
I know. It's yeah. So in the movie, Megan creates a bunker to keep Katie safe, and she potentially has to keep you guys down there forever or for a very long time.
Yeah.
What two things would you guys need in a bunker to keep you from going crazy for that long of a time?
Computer and makeup. Easy.
You answered. I am like just starting to think of my answer. To that.
That's like
Yeah,
all I
she
need
shot
though.
it off
Computer
right
and
away.
makeup, so all alone. I love
What
the
if the
makeup
com-
is so for you and for yourself.
I love it. It's just so fun.
What if the
to do.
computer doesn't have internet though? Because like everything else in the world is down.
Computer. Oh, I meant makeup and a straightener. That's all I need.
Oh my God, this
All I
is so
need.
funny. You're just doing glam for eternity.
She's just waiting for those doors to open and wants to make sure she
Ready.
looks
So
good.
fun.
Yeah.
Or a dog.
I was gonna say my family, my son and my husband.
That's
I
like
think.
that's too much.
No,
That's too much.
Let's go with material objects
Material
because that's too
object?
easy. Yeah.
Honestly, my son has this thing called a Yoto that's pretty awesome. It's like this tiny little box you
I
put
know.
cards in that read stories. It's
that's
just
cool.
audio.
Oh,
And-
okay.
And he gets to be like the boss of the story, which 3.5-year-olds don't get to be the boss of very much. But he'll pick out like the Winnie the Pooh card and put it in, and he'll just
Wow.
read Winnie the Pooh
That's
to him.
awesome.
That would be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Entertained forever.
Yeah, a Yoto, and then I guess my phone just as like a creature comfort.
Right, you're so used to it.
Exactly.
Even
I
if
need it.
even if you're just scrolling blank screens,
Oh
it's,
God,
it's
that
something.
sounds so dystopian.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for chatting
Thank
with
you.
me.
Thank
Lovely
you.
meeting
Lovely
you.
meeting you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thanks, Megan. Appreciate that.
Hold on to your vaginas.
Hey, Gerard. Nice to see you again.
You too.
So when you started work on the first Megan, you were like a new parent, and you were worried about finding the balance between tech and screen time for your kids. How's that going?
Still a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, it's parenting in the modern age, but yeah, we have pretty strict rules. 1 hour on Mondays and 1 hour on Fridays, and but we watch movies and things like that. But in
Okay.
terms of focused screen time, yeah, we still try to keep it regulated.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty conservative. But yeah, I mean, if that's working out for you, great.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a constant challenge, and it is really tricky. It's because it's like you can't keep kids away from it, and obviously they're intrigued by it, and they see us on our devices and phones and computers all the time as well. So you feel like a hypocrite. But yeah, that's 21st century parenting.
Yeah, have your habits with technology or social media changed at all since you made the first Megan? Since I imagine you're...
I don't do social media because
Yeah.
it just feels like a lot of creative energy could be spent on trying to come up with a funny post or something that would be better used like on the scripts,
Yeah.
that I'm working on. So I'm not on any of that, but I'm also, conscious of the fact that it's a very powerful kind of tool, and it's like, it's impacting all of our lives, and it's really hard to get away from.
Well, what I like about the sequel, Megan 2.0, is that it takes that theme from the first movie where it was talking about raising a child with technology, the pitfalls of that, and it maintains the theme while kind of, transposing it to a different idea of raising technology almost as a child and how to responsibly raise technology, specifically AI, which has become so much more of a hot topic since the release of the first movie just 2 years ago. Like, it's so much more in the news and people are more aware of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how did you approach or like learn more about that as you were writing the sequel?
You know, we stumbled upon this quite fun dynamic at the end of M3gan 1, which is like Gemma and Megan were like estranged divorced parents arguing over custody of a child, which is really fun. But at the same time, I started to think about how, in a weird way, Megan's was Gemma's first child. And as soon as, you know, she did something that, you know, Gemma was worried about, she tried to turn her off and tried to like erase her and essentially kill her. So from that point of view, it made me think, well, Jesus Christ, you know, no wonder Megan's upset.
Yeah, you'd be upset if your parent, instead of trying to teach you a lesson, was just like, we'll start over.
That's right, we'll start over, we'll get a better one. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. So this movie was really about kind of like thinking about things more from Megan's point of view, which is a really fun thing to do. Like, you know, you have a villain and you decide, like, it's really interesting how you can just, you know, as human beings, we hopefully evolve and learn and look at other people's situations from other people's point of view. And that's kind of what I wanted to do in this movie, while at the same time never being sure whether or not you could trust Megan, whether or not she is conscious or she's just following an objective and she's a very dangerous weapon and we should really be more concerned.
Yeah, I think that's crucial for like the suspense aspects of the film, which has a whole bunch of different genres going on in it. Obviously, you know, there's still some horror, a lot of comedy, but most prominently, it's much more action-y. And while the first M3gan was more of a horror comedy, or at least a horror movie with funny elements to it, and that was kind of in your wheelhouse from your first film, I don't think you've ever done like a full-blown action movie like this before. So what were some of the challenges? Because the scale of this is so much bigger than the first film. So were you running into things of like, I mean, you've got car chases and stuff. How are you plotting that out?
You know, I was conscious of the fact that the movie had such a big reaction to it, and I just felt like it deserved a really, you know, big sequel. It just deserves a big movie, and she's such a cultural phenomenon. I just wanted this film to be a real ride for people, and I just, it's that thing. I don't know if it's because of where I'm from, you know, being from New Zealand, and we don't have much of a movie industry, so it's like every time I make a movie, I think maybe it's the last one I'll ever get to make. So I should just pack every genre into this. So it was really funny, like, on this movie, like it felt like every week we were on a different movie. Yeah. You know, we're on a different set. It's like, wow, this feels like it's some sort of like weird, you know, the Del Toro, you know, movie, and, you know, when you're in Megan's lair. But, you know, and all of that was by design. But at the same time, I don't like repeating myself. And so I didn't want to make I love the first movie. I'm so proud of it, you know, what everyone did on that movie. But, you know, it's just, you just can't repeat yourself. And the character, she's such a fun character that it feels like she doesn't have to be defined by genre in a weird way. So
yeah, and it kind of takes like a Terminator 2 approach where it turns her into more of a protagonist and ally to the heroes. And with that, we get a new villain in Amelia. I just want to talk about like how you cast that role, because it's Ivana, right, who plays her. And what I was thinking about was how Megan was designed. Her appearance isn't based on anyone, right? It was an original creation for the doll. But with Amelia, I know that you built an animatronic and it had to resemble Ivana. So what were you looking for in a person who could play this role, who could also just kind of embody that look? Because obviously, you know, I can't tell when I'm looking at the actress and when I'm looking at the animatronic, but I know that when I'm looking at the actress, she's pulling it off as though she were a robot. And I don't know if there's like, if it's makeup or just her performance or what.
When it came to casting this role, I just wanted someone that had the same kind of hypnotic presence that Megan had. And Ivana, my kids I've got boys 10 and 12, and so we watch all the Star Wars shows. Okay. And I remember Ahsoka came on, and, you know, as soon as Ivana stepped on screen, I was like, that's what Amelia needs to be, you know. And so we kind of went on this path of finding someone like her. Oh, but it turns out there's kind of no one quite like her, you know. So in the end, we brought Ivana in and met her, and she auditioned for us, and she was just just so incredible, and so it was such a home run. She just has this intensity to her, and just the stillness, and she can do so much with just a look, and that just made her kind of like the perfect kind of like rival for M3gan.
Last question, real fun. In this movie, M3gan builds a bunker to keep Katie safe, possibly to keep her there for a very long time, possibly forever. If you were in that situation, what 2 things would you need in that bunker to keep you from going crazy? And family and loved ones don't count.
Okay. Obviously, one of those home gyms with just all the levers.
Yes. That's one of my 2 as well.
Yeah. Cool. And then I guess some kind of movie library.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking like book library. I've been trying to read more, but like either way, something to consume.
I should have said that, but no.
Well, no, I mean, hey, we like movies.
That's right.
Well, hey, man, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on
thanks,
this.
man.
Such a success.
Awesome. Cheers.